The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The book is Dave Sherapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are the Bostonian versus the book.
You covered! You covered 12! I covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus the book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sherapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
Happy Monday, guys. What's up? Welcome into another episode of the Bostonian versus the book. He is Dave Sherapan. I am Matt Perrault. We are live on our YouTube channel at Boston versus the book. That is the same handle for Twitter and X. Momentarily, Steve Ruddick will hop on in. We'll get his take on everything happening in the state of Kansas and kind of the precursor for what might be a really wild year now for 25 if states start to go, let's rethink this. Maybe we don't want to have sports gambling be legalized here in our states. So we got that. The Kyle Shee conversation obviously will be had as well. We get replayed every night, guys, on Sports Grid Television and on Sirius XM channel 159. If you're on the replay crew, thank you for being a part of that. You guys watching on YouTube on the replay crew, comment. We watch it. We see it. We want to interact with you guys. Thank you for being here. Dave, obviously, a lot of talk about the Masters and one Mr. Rory McIlroy. How are you?
Oh, yeah. No, it was a great weekend. It was a lot of fun. The golf was great. Thought he had it. Then he didn't. And then he did. And then he really didn't. And then they had a playoff. It was great. Absolutely riveting television. Nothing that I don't know any scripted television. It's really hard to believe that it would be as much dramatic stuff, ups and downs as that was. So I enjoyed it. Not one person in the house other than Pap even cared, which was great. You know, this is one of those divides where it's really hard for them to get into it when they're not golfers and stuff. So it's an interesting thing, but I think that crossed over. Rory getting the career Grand Slam crossed over. So
in a really big way, crossed over.
Yeah.
I mean, I just watching like the news stuff today, like local and national news, watching the news channels, you know, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, like they're all like, this was a cultural event with what happened with Rory and how it's a Sunday afternoon. There's not much going on elsewhere. Everybody comes home and they go, Rory's got the big lead. And oh, good, he's going to win. And then everything kind of spiraled for Rory. I mean, everything kind of went crazy. He had a 5-stroke lead with 8 holes to play. And then everything just went. And then when he put the ball in Race Creek, I mean, that was from 85 yards. It almost looked intentional. Like, I don't know. I don't know how that happened.
On 13?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was it.
I don't know how you put the ball. Like, it was as bad of a golf shot as you will ever see a major champion do on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
In that moment, with all that on the line, like he's coasting, he's gliding, like it's over. I said, unless Rory turns into Duke, this thing's over. Rory turned into Duke.
Like, incredible, really, because there's nobody playing defense, right? Like in sports, like in other sports, there's somebody playing defense. The only defense is playing in your head and stuff. In golf, it's so fascinating to watch. And Kyle 305 just said it. He made 4 double bogeys this week and still won.
First one ever. First 3 was the record before. We'd had guys have 3 double bogeys on his card for 4 rounds, never 4. He had 4, and that was the stat that flashed and was like, oh my gosh, he can't blow this. Like he can't have this happen. Like he can't have this press conference afterwards where he has to explain what happened.
No,
how did you fall apart?
That would have been bad. The way the press conferences are going right after too. Like it's just that it hasn't been a good couple weeks for guys asking questions to the golfers right after that don't do well. Put it in the chat, boys and girls, if you watched the Masters Sunday, yes or no. I'm just curious because It's a wide range of audience that we have from all over the country and all over the world. And I really feel like for like 3 hours at minimum yesterday, all of the sports world, despite the fact that it was the last day of the NBA,
Right.
there's, a full slate of baseball and everything going on. It was everybody's attention for like 3 hours yesterday.
I got off Sports Grid at noon and didn't move until like so it was like 6 hours for me. I didn't move.
Yeah.
I watched every shot. I watched every ups and down, every roller coaster that it was. I mean, that was better. I was trying to think this morning of a sporting event that was better than that in the last 5 years, and I can't really think of it because when we watch series like 7-game series, we see all those different moments through a 5 to 7 day window. You don't see it over 3 hours.
No.
Like, you don't see a guy having a big lead and then making a crucial mistake, like missing a free throw at the end of game 1, and then having a unbelievable shot play the next hole to rally, and then only to miss a gimme 5-foot putt to win the tournament, to have to go into overtime, to go up against Justin Rose, who's a guy who is a major golf champion, who stuck his shot 10 yards. It bounced 6 inches away from the cup. He almost dunked it on 18 on the playoff hole, to then turn around and go and bury it even closer from 2 feet out to put all the pressure on Justin Rose to make him make the 3, knowing that Rory was going to hit the putt, which he does. And then the emotion. I mean, what do you make of that moment? I mean, that was as authentic of a reaction. I can't really think of another one. It's the anti-Tiger. Like, Tiger did it when he won and he collapsed into his dad's arms and he cried on Earl's shoulder when he won his first Masters. Like, Tiger had kind of a moment like that, but not like, I mean, Rory said it. It wasn't a victory celebration. That was relief. That was just getting this like gigantic thing off his back and throwing it and being like, I'm done with it. We're good.
It was authentic. It was real. And it was great. There's nothing to take away from that other than, man, that was awesome. And there's people that root against Rory all the time. And I think through that round, like, there was ups, downs, and you're like, I mean, it almost got to be like a sympathetic figure at one point. You're like, you can't lose it this way.
Can't do it.
Please. Like, this is no human being, let alone, professional golfer, should have to go through this. Like, this is crazy how bad this is going to end. And then you see, I mean, for me, there were so many memorable shots. Justin Rose making that putt on 18 was the shot of the tournament. Like, Rory winning made that shot on 15 to recover his round.
Right.
Was unbelievable. Him making the second shot on the playoff was ridiculous. But there is none of that. None of it. If Rose doesn't make that putt on 18 and get 10 birdies on a Sunday.
Ripped the course apart. Shot 66.
He doesn't win. How does he not win?
Because he was so far back. I mean, he played so poorly.
Think about that, though. It's incredible the round that he put together.
Right. Well, because he shot Thursday, Sunday, right? The reason why he lost the tournament was because of Friday and Saturday, really because of Saturday. And so he did not play well at all on Saturday, and that put him so far behind that he wasn't able to recover. And then all of a sudden he came charging down on the back. And like, you're watching it and you're like, man, there's a lot of golfers who are pretty close to Rory and Bryson. And then Bryson started to slip. And then you're like, wait, Scotty's in play. Justin Rose is in play. Like, these incredible golfers, if they keep the momentum going and the golf course was gettable on the back, oh my. I mean, it just turned into just must-watch television. And the swings, the emotions going back and forth, it was amazing. And it's so neat. I tweeted about it. Like, when you're on that golf course, you could not bring a cell phone. So you have no idea what is going on in the other holes as you're waiting on 17, 18. You're waiting to see what the guys are doing until they put it up on the scoreboard. And that reaction, like, that was, I was 15 again. Like that was all pre-social media. That was all pre-internet. That was all pre-cell phones. That was pretty cool. Just that's why the Masters is so special. And, Rory said it afterwards, like, this is the greatest golf tournament. He's like, I'm from a place that people are going to get pretty offended by that comment, but, this is the greatest golf tournament in the world. And you see it just because of the rules and the look and the timing of it.
It's the familiarity of it. I'm telling you, it's the familiarity of it.
I agree.
Knowing every hole is just it. Again, it's that perfect, comfortable pair of shoes that you put on every day, and you just know how they feel. You see it, and then the drama takes over. And there's been, years where it wasn't like this, and you need willing participants. You need someone else there to do it. Now, granted, what Tiger did in 97 was never to be duplicated again. The way he ran away and did that, and people still watched. But something about that Augusta, something about the Masters in April, it was great.
We got Roddick here just in 1 second. Just one more quick question on the Masters, and then we'll get on to what's happening in the sports gambling world. After the round, Bryson said that Rory refused to talk to him.
Oh, we'll get to that later. I mean, that's we're playing golf to win a major. I'm not hanging out playing. We're not playing a Nassau. I have no problem with it. I don't think there's a problem to be had. No,
I don't. I think it's actually weird that Bryson brought it up.
Well, they asked him. I mean, he just answered the question.
I know, but you can just say, we're playing golf. He was locked in. Like he made it into a story by the way he answered it, by going like, I tried to talk to him. And
I think the media made it into a story. He just answered the question. I mean, he could have said, I didn't talk to him either.
Right. He didn't though. I tried to talk to him.
Hey, Rory.
He just didn't want to talk to me.
Good,
I wouldn't say a word. And Bryson beat in a head-to-head, beat Rory in the U.S. Open. So Rory's got a history with Bryson. So Rory's not there to make friends. He's there to win. He's locked into his own business. I don't care what you're doing, Bryson. I'm worried about my business. I don't need to talk to you. Like, that was always the thing people used to get mad at Tiger about, because Tiger wouldn't talk to anybody. It's like, he's not fun to play golf with. We play, 18 holes. We're out there for 4 hours and the guy didn't say a word. Yeah. And
he's winning and he's playing like he's talking to his caddy.
What are we doing? Like, I'm not there to talk to you.
We play at the same time, but we're playing against each other.
Right. And like you said, there's no defense. The course is the defense. So you got to stay focused on all of that. So I don't know. That was odd. All right. Let's get to this because there's a lot to talk about. And Roddick is all over all of this stuff. So it's been a weird and wild couple of weeks in sports gambling. So let's get to, that's interesting. What just happened there?
What happened?
Hold on. Let's move.
Push that back into the big box.
Hold on.
All right.
There we go. Sorry. That was interesting. Everything froze on me. First time that's happened.
Okay.
Mr. Steve Roddick, how are you, sir? Good to see you. Thank you for coming back onto the program.
Doing good, guys. How's everything?
Oh, it's good. I don't know if it's as good as like sports betting in Hawaii, or maybe sports betting in Hawaii. So maybe. What do you make of that, Steve? I mean, first of all, you do a tremendous job with the newsletter. I read it every single day. And that's not a paid endorsement. It's just a pleasure to read it because it's straight to the point, literally. And it covers a wide range of things. This Hawaii thing is interesting because I'm looking for a retirement job. I'd love to go to Hawaii and work for a book and hang out and get customers. It looks very user-friendly for operators. And it looked like it went through, but now it may not go through. What's the deal?
So they're in conference committee. I don't think that should be too much of a surprise to anybody. House passed a bill, left a lot of the details blank. So there was really no specifics to it. The Senate put a few specifics in. That when the Sports Betting Alliance comes out and says, hey, I think the rates you're charging are a little too low, that it's probably because they need to win some support in the House by saying, you know what, this is going to bring in this amount of money. As I phrased it in the newsletter, I'm cautiously optimistic about it. It seems like Hawaii came out of nowhere this year. They put a bill in every year, always does a little something. And yeah, it's Hawaii. No legal gambling of any kind. I'm in Utah. So this year, probably about 3 weeks ago, I was like, I think we need to start taking this one seriously.
So Kansas has legal sports gambling, but now they may not want to have legal sports gambling. What is going on in Kansas, and is it a precursor for what might happen in the future? Because Alfonso Stratton put out a really interesting graph about states how much money they're making, and the red numbers are getting larger and larger, and there's more and more states that appear to be in the red with sports gambling, meaning they're underwater what they were projected that they were going to make from a tax revenue standpoint. Is Kansas, one, what's going on there, and two, is it a precursor?
Yeah, so the legislature passed an amendment in the state budget this year to override a governor veto of what they were trying to do already. Basically what it is it doesn't allow the lottery to renegotiate the contracts for sports betting licenses, which aren't up until August 2027. So plenty of time. This looks like they're just trying to find a way that the lottery cannot renegotiate the contracts until next year. The prohibition expires June 2026. So if the legislature doesn't come up with a new model, whether that's, I've heard people kicking around monopoly, like state-run monopoly, I don't think that's the way they'd go. It makes no sense. You already have these operators in there. But if Hawaii isn't charging very much at $250K for a license and 10% tax rate, Kansas is $100K for a license and 10% tax rate. So that probably points to what they're actually trying to accomplish, which is a little bit of leverage on the sports books to say, you know what, we're bumping your tax rate up to 20%, and perhaps the licensing fee goes up a little bit when they go to renew. I said in the newsletter today, this is the right way to approach this. These other states that just out of the blue start raising tax rates on operators 3 months after launch, that's not cool. If you want to raise the tax rate, you want to change the licensing fee, do it when our licenses are up for renewal. And then, okay, now we can have a conversation about this. Because now we've already invested what we did for the original part. This is a new era. I'm willing to come to the table and talk to you.
You would think so. That would be, if you were trying to grow it together, you would think that's the way it would work. But it feels like both sides don't trust each other. Never really did in those situations, and rightly so. But like in Kansas, you wrote about this a little bit, and I've seen some other people write about it too. They would, if they let this go and don't renegotiate, they would go to a single operator, which, Steve, anyone that has a single operator, it's no good for anybody except said single operator. Why is nobody saying this like already in Kansas? This is bad.
It can go. I wouldn't say it's always bad. It's never ideal. So there are several situations where it is truly bad that we've seen. There are some that it is all right. New Hampshire's all right. Delaware, now that they have a new provider, they got rid of 888. RSI went in and basically tripled revenue overnight. So it's not ideal. It's definitely not ideal for the customer. If you're an affiliate in the space, it's far from ideal because you get zero contracts in that state. It's never the best way to do it. It is a model that I think certain states that don't have land-based casinos or anything like that can explore, but it's not something I would recommend. In Kansas, like I was saying, it makes zero sense because you already have 6 operators operating there that have the infrastructure. Everything's all set up. They've already done the marketing campaigns. What are you going to do at that point? People are going to go to log into their DraftKings account and they can't get in. What are they going to do? They're not going to go to Kansas Lottery, whatever it's called, powered by. They're going to just, what about that Bovada place? What about this? Yeah. Doesn't make any sense to do it that way.
That's a good point. All right, Steve, we've been talking about Kalshi a lot, and there's more news, it seems like every single day, on what the CFTC may or may not be doing. I want to go deep into the Kalshi situation and how you see it. But the first question I have for you about it is, when Kalshi's reporting their handle, when they're reporting how much money they're actually taking in, how many bets or how many markets that they're operating in, do you believe the numbers are accurate?
Yes, the numbers are accurate, but I don't know what they mean. So I don't know exactly what those numbers are telling us. So yes, I believe every number they put out is a legitimate number.
Meaning it came from a bet, a quote unquote market, or it was moved over from somewhere else and they're reporting it as business.
Yeah. So I think Alex Kane, he's on the show all the time, from Sport Trade, summed it up the best, which is every time the market turns over and somebody else comes in and picks up a piece of it, that same bet is being counted again. So it can be counted multiple times. I think people have done a shorthand where they say basically the trading volume is, if you half it, you get the handle from a sports book. That might even still be a little high. I'm not 100% sure. It depends on how much these bets are being pushed over, how much they're recycled, I guess I would say. It's sort of for anybody who's gets a little mad about handle numbers sometimes, those are kind of juice too, because you give away free money. You're not giving away $100. You're giving away $100 bet. The person, say, wins $80 of that. They bet it again. Then they have $120 because they won a little. They bet all that. So off that initial $100 that you gave them, that could be recycled to $1,000 of bets. So it's not really telling you what you want to know. The reason we use handle in the US is because we don't have revenue. We don't have the revenue numbers broken out as well as they should be.
Yeah. It's tax day tomorrow, and anybody that has gambled or submits stuff for an accountant in gambling, you submit your volume, like your handle, like you get your report from a casino. It's alarming what they tell you put through the machine sometimes when you're playing. You're like, wait a second, I gambled. What? I only won a couple dimes or something. So that's misleading. What's not misleading is the rhetoric coming right from Kalshi. Like, Steve, this looks like a done deal. Like they already know that they're going to get across the finish line. And being someone who's been in the business as long as I have and started offshore, I'm going, do sports books have a future? If something like this goes, can they run in parallel, like in conjunction with each other? Or does one, like Kalshi, put the other out of business?
This really depends on what the CFTC decides is allowed. My understanding and my general belief is, yes, they will be allowed to offer sports markets. What type of sports markets will be the big determining factor? If they're allowed to offer, multi-event type markets that start to look a lot like SGPs or other things that traditional sports books offer, I think, yes, I think then if you're a licensed sports book, you better get everybody on the same page, hire the best lawyers, and take this through the courts, which is what's going to happen anyway. Whatever the CFTC decides, it's not going to happen at the end of this month. It's, from what I'm hearing, there's going to be multiple roundtable discussions. So figure this is going to be a 2-month process, something like that, before they even start to make a decision on it. Now, in the meantime, Kalshi is going to be offering these, and other companies are offering these. So everybody starts to get used to them. So how these initial court proceedings go is going to be a big deal. Are they prohibited from offering certain things, or are they just, hey, we got to wait until the CFTC weighs in, and then we got to wait till this goes through the Supreme Court? So New Jersey is a good example. When they overturned PASPA, they weren't allowed to offer sports betting through that whole process. Yeah. Well, what would have happened if they were? And then they lost that Supreme Court case. Like, think about it that way. And that kind of tells you the difference between if Kalshi is allowed to offer these products during the multi-year court process, or if they're prohibited from offering them, or if they're prohibited from offering certain versions of them, which I think would be the smartest way to go about this. I don't I'm a regulated guy. If you regulate it and everything's good, I'm happy. I don't have anything against. I really like the way the Kalshi markets look for like the Masters. I love the lines, and it's like, wow, that's super intuitive, better than -1 whatever looking at things. So it's a product that's going to appeal to a lot of people. But it also, betting exchanges have existed in Europe for decades, right? It's not a new product. They exist alongside them. Certain people like them, certain people don't. So it really depends on what is allowed and what isn't allowed. I think if anybody really wants to deep dive what's going on in the courts, Andrew Kim on X is an excellent. He just had a great LinkedIn long post today. He's posted on Gauker's newsletter, did a guest post there. Really great appellate guy, really understands like the appeals process and making these arguments. And he does a really good job of explaining them to dummies like me, who, I pretend to have legal knowledge, but it's cursory at best. Don't come to me if you need a lawyer.
Right. But Steve, can you just explain this in layman's terms? When the people that are tied to Kalshi say that the state laws that were enacted in the wake of PASPA do not apply to them while they are using the word bet in their marketing and in their general language, why is it not gambling? Why is the word bet allowed to be used, but the laws that govern, quote, gambling and betting do not apply?
So is this a PG show? Can I swear?
Say whatever you
You can
want.
say whatever you want.
Okay, so the industry fucked themselves.
Ah,
They've been doing this thing for at least a decade where things aren't what we know them to be. It's not gambling, it's gaming. It's not a wager, it's an entry fee.
oh,
And states have started doing this now too. Well, we didn't expand gambling in New York when we authorized mobile betting. We just are offering a new delivery channel to an existing product. So everybody gets really cute with the language, and then when it blows up in their face, they wonder why it blew up in their face. So I think this has been a long time coming from the DFS fights. Like Chris Grove had one of the greatest tweets of all time. I don't know if it's still on there, but one of the DFS founders said something about this is how it will happen. And Chris said, I entry fee you do, right? Like, because they wouldn't use the word bet. So it was just a great way of saying, like, we know what you are. Everybody understands what this product is, but you're using this language where you're telling me, it's not what you believe it to be. It's something else. And the industry is fighting this land-based too. Skill games, slot machines, HHR machines, VLTs and VGTs. What are these? These electronic bingo machines. Well, they're not slot machines because they don't use a reel. They use a different random number generator. And from all intents and purposes, you look at it and you're like, I know what that is. And then somebody says, oh, no, that's not a slot machine. That's a VGT. And then somebody else goes, no, that's not a VGT. That's a VLT. It's a video lottery terminal. Totally different number generator in there. So you have all of these euphemisms that everybody likes to use. And in my opinion over the last 5+ years has been the entrepreneurs are usually a step ahead of the regulators and the lawmakers on this stuff. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen. CFTC decides, Kalshi can do whatever they want. Well, 4 years from now, there could be a new head of the CFTC who has a totally different idea of what that should be. These are rules and regulations. These are not laws written by Congress. We have a lot of laws that contradict each other, and that's what we're kind of headed for in the courts. You have IGRA, which is going to be a big factor in this. How does that interact with it? Because that uses the word
for the people that don't know, Steve, what is IGRA?
Yeah.
The Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, passed in 1988, which basically allowed tribal casinos. And there's a lot in there about gaming, and one of Kalshi's big arguments is, well, gaming doesn't mean gambling. So
which is great. I mean, they both start with G, and they both involve the money and the bets, but they're not the. It's unbelievable. I mean, it is. Wow. It is fascinating. Yeah. Steve, last one for me. I know you got to go. Is there anyone happier right now with all this stuff going on and everything than the sweeps? Like the sweeps talk
Gone.
at G2E. I needed to go sit in a cave for 2 days after all the pitches and all the stories and all the things that I was told sweeps was going to be and what it was doing. And now I don't know if even they're still operating, if they're using the coins, if they're this, if they're that. What the hell? Seriously, what's the status of sweeps right now? April 2025.
Same as it was. Some states are sending cease and desist letters to certain operators. Still pretty much available wherever you want to get it. And if you do cease and desist, somebody else does whatever the two opposite words for those are. Right? There's somebody else who's always ready to, fill the vacuum void of whatever is left. And that's where I come down with just legalize and regulate this stuff. Call it Stephen Crosby, the old Massachusetts Gaming Commission chair. Call it all gambling and let the regulators sort it out. Let us figure out what it's supposed to be. Let us figure out, where you're supposed to be regulated by, what your licensing and taxation fee should be. I mean, Alex Kane, again, is great on this. Like, if you want competition for prediction markets through the CFTC, you already have it. You have Sport Trade. You have these betting exchanges that exist, but you make it impossible for them to operate as a licensed sportsbook. The only way to beat the black market, in my opinion, is to offer a better product. Part of that better product is we're legal and regulated. You have some type of recourse if things go sideways. People will pay a premium for that knowledge. That's just the way it is. So if you don't offer a better product, or if you offer no product, you have no competition for these things, this is what you get. You get a bunch of people who are really smart, have a good legal team, don't mind pushing the envelope a little bit, and you get daily fantasy sports, how it is now. You get sweepstakes sites, you get prediction markets, you get skill game slot machines, and you just have a legal mess that takes forever to clean up.
Steve, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. For folks that want to get your newsletter, how can they do so?
Straight to the point.substack.com, I believe, is the best one, or just hit me up on X on at Steve Ruddock.
Good stuff. Steve, thank you for the time. Appreciate you coming on. We'll talk again soon, all right?
Thanks, Steve.
Anytime, guys. Have a good one.
That is Steve Ruddock, the Straight to the Point newsletter. You guys can go and get that. We read that every morning. It's a phenomenal look at the industry. If you like stuff in sports betting, that is a great way of keeping your finger on the pulse as to what's going on. Just to put a bow on the conversation, which I thought was really interesting. So I thought Kansas was going to be negative. It sounds like Kansas might actually wind up being a positive, if that's sort of like the template for what states are going to do when it comes to redoing the tax rate. Does that sound like that to you?
I think they're negotiating in good faith. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
They're going to tell the books they're raising the rates, and the books are going to have to decide, are we staying? Maybe. Some might not. And the threat to all of them is that, well, then if you leave, we're just going to pick one, and we don't know who it is. So we'll negotiate with that one. I don't know. At least it's telling you it's negotiating. It's giving you a heads up of a year to, figure out what you want to do in that state. So it's more fair than waking up and getting an email that said, by the way, we're 10%. Now we're 30.
Right.
And you go, all right, well, I'm done. I'm toast. I can't do that. So yes, positive, maybe, but at least fair.
It's interesting. Because I was reading, I'm glad Steve clarified that, because it sounds like that actually might be a blueprint for the future. I mean, other states may follow it and say, hey, when it's time to renegotiate, because it's kind of like your auto insurance, right? Right. Like you agree to a 6-month deal. If you get into 2 accidents during those 6 months, when you go to renew your auto insurance, the rates go through the roof. Like things, but you agreed to a 6-month period So whatever you paid the state for a license, they would give you a 2-year license. Then after the 2 years are up, okay, now raise it up. Now go ahead and increase it. But to do it arbitrarily, just randomly, people feel like they're getting taken to the cleaners when you do that. So I'm more inclined to say yes. I like that a lot. If that's how we're going to do this going forward, it's more fair, right? It lets an operator figure out whether they want to stay or not overnight, but gives them a couple of months, maybe even or a year worth of time to figure out, okay, we're going to close up shop here or we're going to stick around. It feels more fair.
It will determine in states with lesser handle, like, you won't
Kansas.
be having this conversation in New York.
Right.
You won't be having this conversation in
Michigan.
Illinois. Like, the states, the top 5, top 10, they won't be doing it this way.
Right.
They'll look to take the books, to the woodshed and say, this is what you agreed to. This is what we're doing, and we're not changing. You can stay or you can go, but that's it. So this, at least, I think, will open up a fair conversation. I don't know what the result's going to be, because a one operator place, whether it's run through the lottery or not, which most of them are, it's not better. It's not better. I mean, the prices are worse.
No, he says New Hampshire. I mean, because I now have a lot of experience betting in New Hampshire, I can tell you it's not better. I can tell you it's not better. Yeah. It's not fun being stuck with one book and one menu when that book doesn't. It's DraftKings. It's not like it's one of the small guys. It's DraftKings.
Right.
But there are many markets that DraftKings will not. I mean, for golf, it's horrible. I mean, at least FanDuel now has started to offer some bets with ties for top 10, top 20. Right. DraftKings does dead heat rules. So like if you're betting golf there, you're stuck. Like you can't, you're stuck there. You can't go anywhere else. Or if you're going to try to bet different puck lines and different run lines and the prices are different in different books, well, you're stuck. You only have one out. You only have one option. So I don't care how good the book is. Only having one option stinks. So that's never a solution ever to have a monopoly.
It's again, we take it for granted being in Vegas. We have access to so many right here, and we don't have access to DraftKings and FanDuel, despite the fact that, the FanDuel ones are through Boyd. I mean, they're kind of the same. They're not. They don't offer all the same markets, whatever. But the best sports bettors have multiple outs. You can never have one.
No.
I mean, you can use one if it's consistently a better price, but you need to know when you're getting, if you're laying 30 on a game, minus 130, and everywhere else is minus 120, you're going to do that. And you're going to feel like, I mean, I shouldn't be doing this,
Right. And it catches up to you over time.
Yeah. It just, you
you're
need to know the price.
If you're paying 10 cents more on every bet you make and every transaction you have, eventually it's going to catch up with you. Eventually you're going to cause yourself to lose more money than you should have if you were shopping around. So just keep an eye on it. All right. NBA playoffs. We are good. Here are your Eastern Conference and Western Conference matchups. Do you like these playoffs? Are you excited, I should say, for these playoffs?
For sure. I mean, I don't know how excited I am for the East as I am the West. The West is by far better.
By far better.
I think we have already storylines developing, and we don't even know who's playing 1 and 2.
Right. Play-in tournament will start tomorrow. We'll have 2 games tomorrow and 2 games on Wednesday. But if you look at the odds for the Eastern Conference, it's essentially a 2-horse race. Celtics are now back to being the favorite. Cavaliers plus 185. Knicks 11-1. Pacers 23-1, and up from there.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone else besides the Celtics and the Cavaliers that could be in the NBA Finals, in your opinion?
No.
I would agree.
I've been saying it for 2 months. Nothing's changed. None of those matchups. I would be shocked if it's not Cleveland and Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Major injuries would have to happen, in my opinion, for that not to happen.
Which team is it? If Eastern
Boston.
Conference is a 2-horse race, according to the odds, Guys in the chat, NBA hoop heads, whomever.
Yep.
If it's not Cleveland and Boston, who's the other team that it is? Because one of them's in it. But I mean,
Indiana?
you're going to tell me seriously that it's the Pacers?
Indiana? I don't know. It's not the Knicks. So,
I mean, yeah. Well, Daniel G speaks for all Pistons fans. Listen, I'm happy if we knock out the Knicks the first round and then it's gravy. That's true.
well, let's talk about that series.
I
Because
don't
this series,
think that they're going to win the East.
this series is ridiculous. This is wrong. I don't often say that because I know you laugh at me whenever I say pricing's wrong. This
Right?
is wrong. This is not right. The Knicks
What?
should not be 2.5 game favorites in this series.
No?
No, this is a toss-up. This is a coin flip. I mean, I
For
bet
the
this
series?
for the series. They played on Thursday. The Detroit Pistons went 3-1 against the Knicks this year.
Yeah.
And Cade Cunningham, in all 4 games, scored more than 20 points. He destroyed the Knicks in their quote-unquote defense. I'm stunned at this. Like, this is going to be a war. The Knicks probably win in 7 if they win this thing.
So game 1, 7. So if you use game 1's price, Pistons will win outright. I don't know, Ross. I think they're live.
They're built to bully them. I'm with you, Daniel G. I know you're a homer there, but I'm with you. I couldn't believe that price. When I saw that, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm getting 2.5 games with the Pistons. All I need are 2 wins. Detroit can lose this 4-2, and I'm cashing my
what's the
ticket.
juice on that? If you take the 2.5 games, you got to lay what, 150?
145
Okay.
last night. I'm stunned. I completely am stunned by the pricing here on this. Is anyone watching the Knicks? Like, I'll take the kids. Give me Cade Cunningham, who's the best player on the court in that series. He plays for the Pistons.
He's better than Brunson?
I think he is, yes. Pistons are going to be a problem. Going forward, after this year, Pistons are going to be a problem. I mean, they have been so under the radar for most of the season. They won 44 games, and like no one's really giving them any credit because they think it's like, 5 years ago Pistons. They got a dude. Cade Cunningham is a dude.
I think a lot of people will talk about it too all week about the regular season and whatever they did. Well, no, I can tell you this: it doesn't mean nearly as much to the price,
right? Okay,
as a lot of content people will talk about it meaning and saying.
So is it pure just this? This is a 4-1 win here in 5 games for the Knicks. That's what this price says. Detroit wins 1 game.
Price basically says the Knicks win both home games, 1 and 2. They're winning game 1 according to the series price. I mean, this is in advance. This is them winning game 1. This goes way down if the Knicks lose game 1. Like it goes, if you think Detroit has a shot at all winning game 1, you have to grab this price because you will get an unbelievable way ahead of the pace for 2 games. Because even if Detroit loses game 2, they'll still be way less than they were.
And this, by the way, cashes my ticket, Kyle. Knicks in 6, I win.
Plus 2.5 games, yeah.
Look, that's the point.
Yeah.
All I need are 2 wins. Let's get to a game 6. If I get to a game 6, it doesn't matter who wins the series, Detroit or the Knicks.
Double check, you guys, if you're watching the show and you have an app in the state you're in. See what that price is right now, because I'm sure there's that. Like the series prices are all over the place.
Yeah.
Like I tweeted it last night, and just I mean the difference between FanDuel and DraftKings was glaring.
Yep.
And now you see them settle. They were all over the place. What happens is now they all gravitate towards each other. But the variance on these alternative markets are pretty Pretty
Yeah,
good.
if you do believe that the Pistons can win this series, or even Pistons plus 1.5 games is plus 152 at FanDuel. So if you go to 7 games, if you think you can go to 7, you get plus 152. If you want the Pistons to win the thing, I mean, they're plus 360 to win. If you think they win it in 6, it's even better. It's a plus 540 on the Pistons to win it in 6.
Right.
So just saying, I just need 2 wins from the Pistons. I'm stunned at this. I was like, wow. I have no feeling on the other one. Pacers are laying $2 over the Bucks.
Yeah.
That feels right to me. That I don't feel like there's any real big edge there. Do you?
Let me check what the line is. 5 in game 1. No Dame, right? He's out
Yes.
with the
Done.
blood clots. He's not playing. Okay. Yeah, the Pacers should win the series, but it's not going to be easy.
Okay.
I don't think this is a 5-gamer. I think this is 6 or 7. So I think you'll have multiple opportunities to take
Either side.
at a better price.
Okay.
Again, these things, you price them based on the number in game 1, and then you can get a lean or two from different places. You know, I used to do it. If I thought this team was going to win game 1, it would be already extra. And I would give them a price on a dog that looked great before game 1, but it was less than what it should be in game 2, after game 2, if I was right. So, you know, you think it's a long series?
I do. I think it's 6 or 7 games.
Yeah.
You can lay the series price at Indiana minus 1.5 at plus 114 at FanDuel. So it's pretty much a pick 'em. I mean, it's in a lot of ways, they think you go 6 or 7 games. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park for either side. It'll be a war.
Kyle 305, thank you. He has over 5.5 games is minus 115. I like that.
On either side, yeah.
There's a lot of bets you can make come the playoffs like that, and you go, okay, I don't even need to know who's winning. Like
right.
I don't have to pick the winner. A lot of people fall into the trap of, oh, I gotta pick the side. I gotta this. No, you can just pick the number of games.
Right. It won't matter who wins.
Right.
The Western Conference is a whole different story.
Oh yeah.
Look at this. Thunder, Lakers, Warriors are your top 3 options. Nuggets, Timberwolves, Clippers. You need to explain the Clipper price to me, Dave, because I am completely against it.
Yeah. It's the path.
Path.
Yeah, they have to win as a road dog to Denver. Then they have to win as a road dog to OKC. And then they have to win as a road dog to either the Lakers or the Warriors. Although if they play the Warriors in that round, they would be home. So you have to figure out the
15-1.
Yeah.
18-3 last 21 games. They are the hottest team in the NBA.
There's no question.
They have the number 1 defense in the NBA.
Yep.
And talking about wrong numbers, the Clippers being dogs, I got plus 120 last night. Clippers should not be dogs to the Denver Nuggets. Clippers should be favored in this series.
So it was crazy because yesterday at DraftKings, DK had Denver minus 165, Clippers plus 135.
And I got it.
FanDuel had minus 144 and plus 122 on the Clippers. And then Sherman put his out, and he had minus 115, minus 105. And then when I saw that late last night, I was like, well, yeah, obviously. Well, I know the people that are betting the Clippers. Like they bet the Clippers
here, right?
Yeah, they've been betting them in Vegas. They have 40-1 to win the West.
Let's go.
You know, I mean, we got guys with you met them.
Yep.
At the live shows, like
Yep.
they got some serious numbers invested in this. They can win this first round series for sure. I have no idea what to expect from Denver.
Zero.
I feel
Zero.
like I know, and as weird as that may be to say, I know what I'm going to get from the Clippers right now.
As long as Kawhi stays healthy.
As long as that's it.
Yes. As long as Kawhi is healthy, I know what I'm getting out of the Clippers. Yes.
Yeah.
I saw that last night and I was like, absolutely give me the Clippers. I was like, they're going to knock out the Nuggets. I mean, Denver this year was 26-15 at home. That's un-Denver like. They had 24 wins on the road this year. They had 26 wins at home. Normally, they use the home court, the altitude. Normally, they're one of the best home teams in the NBA.
They had less than 10 losses a season.
Yeah.
At home. I mean, they
15
would regularly be 32-8.
Yeah. And the Clippers are 30-11 at home. So, like, Clippers protect home court. They take 1 of 2 from Denver. They win both games at home. They're up 3-1. All they got to do is win game 6 and they advance.
Yeah.
It's them in 6. I mean, they were great yesterday. If you guys watched the game against the Warriors, but like that was a playoff game yesterday. Went to overtime. Clippers won the game in overtime.
Is Jimmy hurt?
Probably. Everyone's hurt at this time of the year.
I know, but he just came off limping, and I only saw clips of it. I didn't see the game during the game, but if he's hurt, he can cross the Warriors off.
Yeah, Warriors are done, but no, I think we'll see. He looks all right. Let's see what happens in the playing game on Wednesday.
I mean, they are 7-point favorites against Memphis.
Tomorrow.
The total is 2. They play Tuesday.
Yeah.
The total is 228.
Yeah.
They've already bet that under from an initial number of 231 or 232, depending on who opened it. I don't know. Golden State's winning tomorrow. Just put that on the board.
Yeah, hard.
They're winning.
Hard to not see that.
Yeah.
Ja would have to do something really special, like really special, like go for 50 or something for that not to happen.
That being said, Memphis, after they lose, are going to beat either Dallas or Sacramento.
Probably so.
And then you're going to get in-game games if the Grizzlies and Thunder are the 1-8, the 200 minimum. Like you'll see 200 at least twice during the in-game.
Yeah.
You know, those games are going to just making the numbers like 248.5, 250. Just start it there. Let them bet under. Because those games are going to go over. That's going to be entertaining. Grizzlies, though, not a serious contender. That Western Conference pricing thing, look at the Rockets price. Like, it's done. They're not even going to win the first round. That's what that screamed at me.
On the West?
Yeah. The Western Conference. Look at that. 25-1 is the 2 seed and at home against everybody except OKC.
Why is that? Is it worth taking the 25-1 just to hedge off of it?
If you think they can beat the first round opponent, now if it's Memphis,
right?
Who has a better chance of beating them in the first round? The Warriors or Memphis?
Memphis because of Ja.
See, I think the Warriors because of their experience and Jimmy.
Yeah, but the Warriors shouldn't play.
The Warriors win. They're the 7.
Okay, so they would play them.
They play the 2.
Yeah, okay. I'll give it to you.
That's why that price is like that.
Okay.
Right?
They got to get past the Warriors. Okay.
Yeah. So again, I'm not saying it's right, but that's why it's priced that way. I feel like Golden State's not.
Well, then what's the series price for the Rockets and the Warriors? The Warriors going to be favored?
It's going to look a lot like the Nuggets and the Clippers price.
Well, that's fine. It's plus 105. So the Warriors are going to be plus 105? That's fine. I mean, I guess.
I don't think so.
But the Warriors being favored over the Rockets would be like, wow. Like, that would be interesting.
It depends how they get through this game on Tuesday.
Okay.
If everybody's healthy, yeah, it's going to be. I mean, he's in the chat at Volbex. Pick him. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. I mean, dare say game one, we open this thing Golden State -1.5
on the road.
It's a basketball game. It's a basketball game. So if I have Rockets -2 to open, which way am I going to take bets? One way.
All the Warriors think everyone's coming in on Golden State just because of Steph?
If they win convincingly and he's shimmying and everybody's healthy and hitting threes and they light up Memphis, yeah.
How about that? Golden State's games against Houston, they beat them 99-93 in the 5th of December. They beat them. Let's see, where did they play them next? They lost to them 106-96 on April the 6th. So they went 1-1.
They only played each other
Oh,
twice.
sorry. They lost to them 91-90 on the 11th.
They're going to be ugly basketball games
of
right?
December. They played 3 times. So Houston went 2-1 against the Warriors, but 2 of those times was before Jimmy showed up.
Right.
So that was before Butler.
That's the hard part. I think, as crazy as it is to say, the hardest team to price in the West is Golden State. I have no idea. I mean, like, we're talking about Denver and their situation.
But they're third. I mean, they're in the play-in and they're third.
That's a bit much.
At plus 850, they have better odds. I don't get how they can have better odds than the T-Wolves and the Clippers. I just don't get that. When you're playing an extra game, and they can lose that and have to go play 2 extra games. Plus 850. Is that the path too? Is that why?
Yes, because they play the Lakers. The winner, the 2-7.
Yeah.
Plays the 3-6. And it would be Lakers Warriors. That's why the prices are almost the same. The Lakers is a little less because they'll have home court. I mean, it's just plug and play a lot of times when you do this stuff, but like, I don't mean to oversimplify it, but
no, it's fascinating.
Yeah. Well,
because I mean, the Grizzlies are bigger favorites. Sorry, the Warriors are bigger favorites over the Grizzlies than the Hawks and the Magic. The Magic are laying 5 at home against Atlanta.
Yeah.
No one's going to watch that game. That game has like snooze fest written all over it.
Whew. It's going to be a lot of the case.
I mean, total's high at 216.5. That's high to me involving the Magic.
We got Atlanta, Orlando tomorrow, and then we follow that up with the blockbuster Miami, Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, Wednesday night NBA is Miami, Chicago, and Dallas, Sacramento.
Right.
For your life.
Both Eastern Conference play in stink. The Western Conference games, the NBA is very happy that they have the 2 games after, because the Western Conference games are going to be much more entertaining than the Eastern Conference games.
It's fine, but it's at the same time, it's like, I mean, for your life, it's a one and done game. Miami, Chicago, Dallas, Sacramento. And I got to be honest, I'll be way more excited to watch Cubs Padres.
Ooh, really? You're not you don't like the play-in tournament?
The Wednesday games, I'm going to be like,
oh, I love them all. I mean, to me, it feels like Dayton all over again. It's 2 games for your life.
Right.
And these are home games, at least. They're not neutral.
Right.
But it's a Tuesday, Wednesday playoff game, one and done. You don't get one and dones very often.
True.
You have 4 game 7s. That's fun. Except, I guess, in the
How does
7
Chicago
tomorrow.
not just beat Miami, though? Like, I'm not even pandering to the Chicago audience, which, by the way, guys, we really appreciate all of you in Illinois that watch the show and like the show. And please, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all the above.
I mean, look, I was on the
why is that only 1?
I was on the over for the Bulls regular season win total, and it flew over. So I've been high in the Bulls for most of the season. They should win, but Spoelstra's a really good coach. So, like, it's you can't just completely write off the Heat and just say the Heat are not going to show up and be there. So that, defensively they're going to be there and they're going to play hard. I do think the Heat lose and the Bulls win, but I mean, I'll be on the Bulls, but I don't think it's going to be easy. I think it's going to be a sweat to see how it all plays out. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. I think there's a shot that all 4 games could really be hard-fought games. I mean, I think taking points is not a bad idea. Taking the Memphis +7, not a bad idea. I think Orlando wins, but do they win by 6 or more? I don't know. Like, that's a lot in these games in which it's going to come down to every possession. For teams that are playing in the 9-10 game, that's for your life. That's it. At least the 7-8 game, you can lose it. You play one more game. You got a shot to play Thursday or Friday.
They're scheduled for Friday. So the next result games will be Friday. And then the games are up. Saturday games are up.
Yeah. Then we get going the quote unquote real playoffs on Saturday. I don't know. I like the NBA a lot right now. This play-in idea has been really well done. I think it's really interesting. It's different. It's unique. It's made the end of the regular season far more entertaining. It's better than the wild cards that we see in the NHL and Major League Baseball. Like, I'd much rather see teams have to play their way in and earn it than get handed a wild card spot. So I mean, I'm pretty critical of the NBA and critical in general on sports leagues, but this has worked. Like, the NBA play-in tournament has worked for me. I like it a lot.
I don't know what it's done for the NBA regular season. The NBA regular season was a snooze fest.
Only in the Eastern Conference. The Western Conference wasn't. Western Conference was awesome.
They're just, teams are content with being on the road. There's no incentive to be the 1 seed. There's, everybody's kind of happy with playing 80% of the games. I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't know. I like this, the way it's set up. Too many teams make the playoffs. I think we have to figure out a way to make it less. Less is more.
We're going to expand for 2 more teams into the NBA. We're growing the NBA, not shrinking.
Boy.
We're adding the Supersonics and the Vegas whatever coming up in 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
So we'll have 32 teams.
Yeah.
20 teams, only 16 teams make the playoffs, okay?
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 teams that will lose that get to play extra games. They aren't really playoff teams per se. They just get a chance to play their way into the playoffs, into the bracket. So it's still only 16 teams out of 32 or 30 now, but then soon to be 32. So it'll be half the league making the playoffs, but a little more than that, getting an opportunity to play an extra game, which I don't know. In basketball, I always like to have it be determined on the court.
Right.
Just play it out, and let's see what's going to happen, and let's roll with it. So I think it could be a lot of fun to see how it all plays out and how it all goes. But I like it. Tuesday in particular because of the time of the year. I mean, there's just the NHL this week is blah. Like, there's like 2 teams worth paying attention to right now. All these games are meaningless. Then you got after the Masters, you come down after that incredible high.
Yeah.
To Major League Baseball. Like that.
Right.
That's about it. Like, you just stumble into a small schedule.
Fantastic. That's
small schedule of Major League Baseball games. We're 12 games in. We're 14 games in. Like, it is still very early in the season for Major League Baseball. So we're not like jumping up and down. I'm not running to my TV set to watch a baseball game right now. There's nothing like it's April. Like, you can't overreact to anything in April, whether you're good or bad. You can't react to it. Like, we don't know who these teams are yet by any stretch.
I don't know. There's a couple teams I feel like we know.
Who are bad? Sure. I mean, the Rockies are the worst team in baseball. Yes. Done. Yes. The Dodgers are really good. Yes. Padres, good.
Dodgers are 3-6 since their start.
Are the Giants as good as they are right now? They're 7-2 on the road. Like,
MLB.com put out a rankings, a power rankings. The first 6 teams were National League teams.
Rightfully so.
First 6. Look at this. Dodgers, Padres, Phillies, Mets, Cubs, which, by the way, thank you for making me almost blush, Chicago Kristen.
Right.
The Cubs stuff does pop every time. The Giants, and then, oh, by the way, we got a couple American League teams, Yankees, Tigers, Rangers, and then the D-backs and Brewers. So of the top 11 teams, 8 are National League teams.
I would agree. I have nothing wrong with that list. I don't have any problem with that list.
Right.
There's no, as of right now, I would probably, I would say the Padres being the second best team in baseball. Not sure about that.
What?
They're among the top 5. Phillies are in that conversation. I don't think the Cubs are among the top 5 teams in baseball.
What?
No. I don't know the Giants are. I mean, they just lost Steele, Dave. You want to bet the Cubs futures right now? You can have them. You can have all the Cub futures. You could have, I'll give you whatever number you want. You can have all the Cubs futures that you want. The Cubs are not a top 5 team in baseball.
That hurt.
Their starting pitching's in deep trouble.
That
so
hurt. That's a lot of innings that they're going to have to fill. Listen, lineup. I got the numbers right here. Hold on. Where's it at? They lead the majors in steals. They're hitting the ball. He scored 16 runs at Dodger Stadium on Saturday.
Yeah, beat him 16.
Won the series. The bottom of that list, though, the bottom of that list is pretty clear. And it's nighttime in Pittsburgh behind me, but I'd argue that the 28, 29, and 30
are set.
And listen,
I would include
Minnesota
twins too. I would include 27, 28. Bottom 4. Yeah, bottom 4 are right.
Nothing personal, Minnesota, but man, oh man, it's Twins. Oh, King of car seats. Twins 27, Pirates 28. It's over before the weather got nice. Oh, good call.
Fair. I have no problem with that.
Can't hit, can't field, can't run the bases. Rockies are pathetic. Joe the Fat Panda. Type it in the chat, boys. Who's the worst baseball team in the league or in baseball right now?
Colorado. It's not even close. It's not even close.
White Sox and Pirates are going to give them a run for their money.
Yeah, but the White Sox
on the days that Skeens don't pitch.
White Sox have 4 wins. 2 of them are against the Red Sox. So, we'll see what the White Sox look like.
They had a winning record against the Red Sox last year.
Mm-hmm. Because you know why? I have a whole Machiavellian theory about this.
Hold on. Where's my glasses? Hold on.
Who are the 2 biggest pitchers in the last 20 years for the Boston Red Sox?
Let me put my white hat on.
Do you know who they are? Who are the 2 best pitchers for the Boston Red Sox, starting pitchers for the last 20 years? It would be one Chris Sale, and it would be one Garrett Crochet. And they both came from the White Sox via trade.
Wow.
So my theory is that Boston just tries to stay on Chicago's good side to get their best players.
The views expressed on this show right now are from Matt Peralt at Sports Talk Matt only, not necessarily the entire show.
I'm just saying,
Boston versus the book.
Chris Sale went to the Red Sox in 2018 and won the World Series. Garrett Crochet is the ace of the Red Sox. We'll see what they do in the next couple of years. But the proof is there that Boston and Chicago like doing deals, and it's for normally top end starting pitching, and we give them prospects. And so it works. Guys, you're forgetting what 20 years is, by the way. 20 years is 2005. So we're talking about
it's 20, right? Pedro was early.
Pedro was
99.
04 was 04, but his domination was in 99.
Right.
Chris Sale in 2018 was unbelievable. He was unbelievable.
He was great. Oh, God.
So, and Garrett Crochet, we'll see what he does this year with Boston. But I mean, taking top level talent for Red Sox starting pitching is with the White Sox has been pretty good. So, I like it. Let's keep developing those kids, and then we'll trade our kids for your studs, and let's go win World Series. Have them be our quadruple A team. So, it would work for me on that. So Tennessee, we talked about this a bit before on Friday. So the starting quarterback for Tennessee said, I want $4 million. His deal was $2 million. He wanted double. Over the weekend, Tennessee decided that, Nico, you can go play somewhere else. We're not renegotiating.
I mean, is his official way to say his last name is
I have no idea.
Amaliva?
Sure.
So I'm a leaver, Tennessee. You see what I'm saying? Like it's I'm a leaver.
Somebody
I've been saying it all weekend.
Somebody changed his name. They crossed out the LEAVE and they put the P word.
Oh,
I'm a P word.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was pretty clever. I was like, oh, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think if you're a Volunteer fan, I think you're feeling pretty good about your team because you never want to see your team be held hostage by a player, starting quarterback or not.
The whole thing is warped.
Yep.
The whole thing is warped. It's the thing why I said we have to talk about this today. They were talking about this during the playoff last year. They went to them and said, we agreed to play 12 games, not 13.
Yep.
The thing that we have that's most sacred and finally got to playing and deciding the playoff on the field, betting aside, like we finally got, after all this, one team in the paper, another team, two polls, this, that. Then we get to two teams, and then we get to BCS, which might as well have been BS, and four teams, and this. Oh, we finally got to here.
Right.
And you find out that, wait a second, they were negotiating to get more money
During the playoff.
Right. And then you put up lines on this. Like, I read it and I got that feeling in my stomach that this is now, you cannot deny it. This is professional sports.
Well, he's going to go to the guy who's running the pro sports team in North Carolina if Jadel Betts has that report right.
North Carolina with Bill?
Did you see the viral video that happened over the weekend with Bill?
With the girlfriend?
Yeah.
What's going on?
I have kind of an unpopular opinion about that. I actually don't think that is that big of a deal. Like, North Carolina's been pumping out content like crazy with Belichick, and Patriot fans are just like slopping it up because you never really got much personality at practice from Bill. And so he's constantly mic'd up. And so you could tell that she, the girlfriend, Jordan, is heavily involved in the production of that. And she was just changing out the mic while he was at practice. And everybody has said that, like, that's her.
What to do.
Yeah, like main character energy is what I kept on seeing. Like, she wants to be, she wants to be the guy. She wants to be the person on camera, not Bill. I don't know. I think she was just doing her job.
She's doing her job one way or the other.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
But her job is to make Bill look young. Her job is to make him appeal to a younger generation, a younger crowd. So I don't think she's doing really anything that, that crazy. Like, she walked up and swapped the mic out. That's all she did. Everyone's like, oh my God, you can't do that. Oh, this is horrible. Like, Belichick is completely whipped and she's running the show and she's the real head coach. And I was like, I don't know if I agree with that.
It's amazing what someone can take and caption from like one piece of video and stuff. It's actually alarming. I dove down a ChatGPT/AI thing over the weekend a little bit and was like, what the hell is going on right now? Like, this is way too much.
Have you done the bubble? Have you done the action figure yet?
No.
For yourself?
I have not. No.
Oh, you should. It's hysterically funny. I've done it with like everybody in my family now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. It's cool. You can tell it all sorts of things, what to look like, and what the accessories are, and
right.
It's fun. It's a cool thing to do for the kids.
Right. Well, we'll have to do that. I don't know if they're doing it. I'll find out.
I can do one for you.
Thank you, Sonic. Please do. Please do. That'll be good. Yeah, this is changing everything. This is all. It's all changed.
Yeah,
and it ain't going back.
Not right now, at least. I mean, I think it could be. It
has to get reined in.
Yeah, I think that has the most logical outcome of all of this, is that it gets reined in some form or fashion. I think we need to do what Major League Baseball did in the wake of the Black Sox scandal, was to create the commissioner's office. I think you need to create a czar commissioner of some sort of college football and have somebody who is beyond reproach that can help to craft a bylaw that helps both sides, player and team, So it's a win-win for both sides because now it's not working. It's a mess.
It is all 1-year deals. Don't get too comfortable. Don't get.
It always
too,
was
like,
1-year deals, but now it's
I
really,
know, but like you could, the kid would stay.
You're right.
Now, even a kid who plays and does okay and gets paid,
Right,
is looking to get paid more to play in a playoff game. Like, we got all this way. Like, Tennessee, the last thing I would have been thinking was, I got to get paid to go to Ohio State and play in a playoff game. Like,
extra. I need a bonus.
yeah.
Because
Had I known that was going
though,
on, I would have bet Ohio State for more.
Right, but remember, in the NFL players are not paid to play in the playoffs.
Right.
They're given bonuses for winning, but they don't get a salary check for playing in the game.
Okay.
But that's, if you want to structure it like that, that's how we should structure it then. So like you're paid for the regular season. So you can't go back and say, well, I agreed to 12 games. This is 13. Pay me. Like, what do you mean pay you? What are you talking about? What structure does anyone get paid like that? You got to win. Then you'll get paid. Go win a playoff game. They got destroyed by Ohio State.
I don't know what the answer is, but I know it's not this. It's not making it better.
A CBA, sure.
You need something.
But that means, but a CBA would mean that the players would be allowed to unionize. So to have a collective bargaining agreement means you got to bargain with the other side. So the other side has got to be actually, a group of people represented by somebody at the negotiating table. The players are not going to be allowed to unionize. That's never going to happen. Like, they're never going to let the players form a union. So I would be down with the CBA, but there's no way that gets allowed because the negotiation on the other side is never going to be allowed to happen. So that's the problem. That's the issue with that. I would be 100% down with it, but you need to have the other side be represented by a group like the NFL Players Association. They do the bargaining agreement with the owners. Same thing when it comes to baseball and hockey and whatnot. If we say these players are professional, it changes their designation. It changes how the players are compensated and how they're protected under law. Players want to be professional, but the teams do not want to pay them as pro athletes. They're not employees. If they make them employees, this is a whole different conversation.
The structure has to change. Great non-union versus union players if that happened.
Yep. Yeah. Are you in the union? Are you outside the union? True. Very, very true. And look, this is kind of a funny point. I know you're making a joke, Brendan, but like, could the bowl sponsor put up a bonus check? Welcome to the Crown.
I was going to say,
Crown just did.
They just did it.
The Crown just did that. 300,000 was put up for the team that won the Crown tournament. Nebraska won it.
What was the basketball tournament that we went to in the fall?
Well, yeah, that's the Players Era tournament. That's a
Players Era. But they got paid for showing up.
Yeah. The Players Era got $1 million per team to show up. Now it's going to be different as they do it going forward. Next year will be $1 million, and then they're expanding it to 8 teams, and then it goes, as we talked about, it's going to go to 32 teams. The Players Era is a 32-team tournament in 26 or 27 rather. No, 20. Yeah, 26. Sorry. Yeah, November of 26. Because in November of 25, it's going to be 8 teams here in Vegas. And then in 26, it's going to 32 teams because the check's cleared.
I'm fascinated with the guy saying, like, well, I should be getting paid $4 million. Well, you're getting paid $2 million. Why should you be getting $4 million?
Right.
Because that's what it's worth.
The going rate.
I can only imagine like the negotiations and things. It has got to be
so frustrating.
You have to be a registered agent to deal with professional sports, right? Like in teams, you have to be something in an NFL.
Well, yeah, the NFL has to approve you as a registered agent.
Okay, right. So,
like, you have to register with the NFLPA and with the NFL as an NFL agent. Like, you can't just be anybody to represent somebody.
Yeah. So, like in college right now, anybody can represent anybody. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Bad. You know what else is bad? Well, you can read this. What's up with your team, Dave?
Pirates are hitting 184 as a team. Slugging 290 and have a 61 small W, big RC plus.
WRC plus.
Whatever the hell that means. I know it's bad because it says they rank last in MLB in all three categories, as you might expect. That's terrible.
Weighted
That
runs
is
created plus is what that stat is.
It sounds like, sorry, Will, but Reddick already said something. That is shit. Okay. Period. End of story. And now
It's Skeens Day.
it's Skeens Day, and that team that ranks last in all of those three categories that seem important
Just
for
a few.
scoring runs and offense
Just a little.
is minus 200. I thought this is the best story of the day in the baseball board, and there's some great baseball games today. But you want to talk about how gambling can, drive a conversation for sports talk? There ain't no reason to talk about this game other than Paul Skeens pitching. The Pirates going to Cincinnati and getting smoked all three games. They can't score any runs. MLB.com has them graciously not last, but second or third from last as worst teams of baseball. Yet, the odds makers and people that are responsible for blood money said that the Pirates are minus 190 right now. Don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. I mean, this is different than anything, right? So I got it here.
The pen. Yeah, it's your bullpen too, though. I mean, the $2, laying the $2 is scary as hell. First five, I almost took it. It was 240 last night for first five. I was scared of that.
Skeens is coming off his worst start of his career. He allowed a career high 5 runs on 6 hits in 6 innings in a 5-3 loss to the Cardinals last Tuesday at PNC Park, which is ironically the last game that the Pirates went over the total. Was a Skeens game because they moved it down to 6.5.
Okay.
They went to Cincinnati and went under because they didn't score any runs.
So what do you make of the strikeout prop today? Everyone's on over 6.5 for Skeens.
Well, I mean, as a book guy by trade and life, my first thought is under. I don't know. He better go 7, right?
Right. Yeah. Fair. He's going to get there.
He's got to go 7 innings. When the number's 6 or more, it's relying on the starter to get multiple strikeouts in multiple innings, right? If he's going to do this in 5 1/3 or 6 innings, he's got to get 2 strikeouts probably twice in an inning.
Right.
He don't strike out the side usually ever. He did a couple times last year, but it's a lot. The Cards do beat the Skeens every time, Sam Licata. The Cardinals kind of
have his number.
Yeah, they do. That's 3 times.
If you're looking for an under bet today, maybe the Red Sox, because while the Pirates have struggled mightily at the plate, the Red Sox are right there with them. Yeah. Red Sox, they're 7-3 to the under on the road this year. 5 of the last 6 have gone under as well for the Red Sox. 8.5 is the total. Hawk hasn't been good. And I think that's why, because Baz has been pretty good for Tampa.
Yep.
Hawk has not been good for the Red Sox. So this is more like a Tampa Bay team total type of bet. If you're going to make it, if you're going to bet an over, it would be Tampa team total, because I don't know if the Red Sox score more than 2 runs today.
It'd be fun to take a peek at this game, because when the game was in Tampa in the Dome, when they played the Red Sox and they played the Yankees, there was always more of the other team's fans.
And there will be today, 100%. 100%.
Yeah?
100%. It'll be way more Red Sox fans in Tampa. Way more fans for the Red Sox.
Okay.
In particular, because it's spring break in New England. And it depends on where you are. There's a lot of schools from New England that are out.
Oh.
So you're going to have a lot of kids down there.
Okay. They can't hit either, though.
Red Sox can't hit at all. No, right. I mean, they will. It's just on the road. They just, one thing I'll say this, they're playing in the warmth of Tampa, so the bats may wake up in this series.
Right.
That's the one fear for the under here, is that they've been playing in Chicago. They've been playing in cold weather.
Yeah.
Boston, Chicago, they haven't been playing in warm weather. So now putting them in Tampa, the bats very well might have a resurgence here in this series and wake up and play better once they get back to Boston.
Sidewise, I would play Tampa.
Sure. Agreed.
But I think under would be the play overall. Let me see. Refresh 8.5
Yes,
flat.
they're playing in a minor league stadium. Ross.
That's the problem.
Tiny.
That's they're playing in the. I don't know. That's why I hesitate on the under.
Yeah.
So again, the games in Sacramento, the games in Tampa this year are going to be very different, and there's a lot of learning period. It was so easy the first week in Sacramento. Last couple games went under. So it's.
I mean, but that game yesterday shouldn't have gone under.
I did.
I mean, 8.5 was 8-0 Mets. Like, if the A's do one thing, the A's score a run, the game goes over. So
those
like
are brutal losses.
Yeah, I mean, I was on team total Mets and the over, so I got the team total for the Mets right, but the over should have come in. I was like, you're gonna get blanked by the Mets. By the way, Mets pitching staff's been really good, but like, you know, it was
baseball.
Yeah, really good. They blanked the A's 8-0.
Yep.
So I needed one swing, one run, and a game goes over. So like that's a little bit of a anomaly there with that. But those numbers are going to be 9 all summer in Sacramento. 9 and up.
Rich maybe just popped in the chat. Rays games have been going over. I think the Sox will hit. Bregman hits, runs, and ribbies. Looks good.
He's right. I mean, that's
Rich.
why I didn't bet it, because Tampa is an over team, and at home they've been an over team so far. But the sample size it's pretty small,
so
it's hard to really glean much off of that. But I mean, Hawk getting hit today, Tampa Bay team total over. I'm in. Yep, I can listen to it. So I can listen to that for sure on that. Yeah, Kyle. I mean, Mets scored 4 in the 9th. So what? They scored 4 runs. Like, so what? When did they score it? They scored it. Mets scored 8 runs. So all 9 innings get handicapped when you're betting the game. It's all 9, betting a full game. So it doesn't matter when they score. Just they scored. They scored 8 runs. So it was, a chance for, if we've seen any garbage pitching out of the Mets, where it was bottom 9, bottom 8, they're down 4-0, then 8-0, one swing, one rally, something for the A's, and we go over. So that's just one of those problems for that. It's 4-0. What's that? That doesn't matter. When you go into the handicap, Kyle, you're handicapping bullpens. So it doesn't matter when they get the runs. You're handicapping them to get the runs. So they get them the 8th, the 7th, the 6th, the 4th, the 3rd. Doesn't really matter. They're going to get them. So I would fade the bullpen for the A's. The A's are going to be a home run or bust team this year. They hit a lot of home runs, but they don't do much else on that. Yeah. So, and the Mets are pitching. I mean, they're absolutely pitching. It's been pretty impressive to see.
Mets have been really good pitching. I mean, not as good as the Padres.
No.
The Padres just literally shut out the Rockies 3 games in a row. Believe that? Yeah. How bad is that?
Again, it's really early. It's really early. So, I mean, we haven't even gone, more than 2. We've gone 2 times, 3 times through the pitching staffs, 15 games, 16 games.
Yeah,
so,
some guys have 3 starts, but most have 2.
2. We get a long way to go on that. But Scooble's pitching for the Tigers, laying $1.50 against the Brewers. Road favorites for the Tigers, 7.5.
That's high. That's a really high number. But I think the Scooble thing is real. Like what he did last year, and getting the Cy Young and being consistent in make or break starts all of August and September. Like his numbers higher. Yeah, it's justified.
The luck has run out for the Tigers.
What do you mean?
I mean, that's why I think every team in that division is bad, all of them, because I don't believe in the Guardians. I don't believe in the Royals. I don't believe in the Tigers. I think the Tigers win it by default, but I can be talked into the Guardians winning it. But they did it with duct tape last year. 2 starters in duct tape, and now one of those starters is in Boston. So now it's 1 starter, and the duct tape has worn thin, and they're in trouble. I'm just not. This is Brewers or nothing for me.
I think this is Tigers' first 5. I think Scooble pitches well tonight, but Alexander could get them through the first 5 under. What's the total? 7.5. So if you can get 4 the first 5, go under that. I think you're good. Good luck getting Frank White on the show now. Yeah, we're never getting Frank White on the show.
That was never happening anyway.
Yeah, that was a huge, probably gigantic.
Although I would love to know if he remembers that, because I doubt he does. It would be surprising if Frank White actually remembers throwing me out of Kaufman, but it would be funny to find that out if he's if he's doing that. So, on how it all, if he does remember any of that.
Ever. Yeah, Jimmy Football, ever. We're never getting Frank. Yeah.
Ever. Never. 2 hockey games, because it's a small slate. Most of the games don't matter, but 2 of the games do matter. The Blackhawks at the Canadiens. Canadiens have to win this game. This is a must win for the Canadiens to keep themselves in their current playoff spot.
Are the playoffs starting yet?
Next week.
I mean, they're playing games through Thursday this week?
Yep.
Why?
Because they scheduled it that way.
I know, it's just too long.
You got to get to 82 games. You got to get them all in.
It's too long. I was watching some of the scores yesterday after the Masters and everything. You turn the channel, like when you're watching it on local, it goes right to like the local news, and you're like,
yeah,
all right, what's on?
Right. What's this?
And I flipped to Ducks and Avalanche, and I'm like,
how about those Ducks? What was the final score? I was going to take the Ducks pre-flop, and I just forgot to.
It was, hold on, 4-2 Avalanche.
Whoa, they came back and won that game. I'm glad I didn't bet it.
Yeah, 4-2 Avalanche.
Wow, it was 2-0 Ducks.
Yeah.
I like the home dog there. I didn't bet it. I should have. I would have lost, though.
Right. I don't know. I glanced at the hockey board, and I went, all right, we got Kings and Oilers.
Well, that's tonight. Hold on, that's next.
I know, but like that was the game that appealed to me.
Right. It's the only game that appeals today. Everything else sucks. This game only matters because of this, where we are from a standing standpoint with Montreal.
Vancouver's going to beat San Jose later. It's a gigantic money line, but you can probably take them in regulation.
Fine. Okay. I'm talking about games I want to watch. Columbus has 85 points. There's 2 games left. Montreal can win. If they win in regulation tonight, Montreal clinches.
Oh.
They win in regulation tonight, they get 2 points and they clinch.
And then they get the last spot?
They have the final wild card spot. Only Columbus can catch them. They've got 85 points. Canadians have 88 points.
So what do they need? 2 points of the last 2 games?
Right. Yeah. Fine.
So
yes.
They can go to overtime tonight
and lose. Yes. And then go to overtime tomorrow and lose.
Right.
And then they're in. But they need to just get to a number that the Blue Jackets can't get to. 89 is the top number for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Okay.
Montreal has 88. So if they get to 90, it's over.
Right.
They win tonight, it's over. Ross says, take the Habs and the over.
I would have to think the game goes over. What's the juice on it? 6.5.
What's 6.5 now? It was 6 before. Okay.
6.5.
And then
under slightly favored a couple places. So minus 125 or 130. So you get over 6.5 plus money.
You mentioned it. Kings at Oilers. Pick them. 5.5 is the total. Home ice is on the line.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody's playing for Edmonton. Like, I think they're good with where we're just going to let it play it where it lies.
The Kings sure as shit are not.
No. The Kings are, listen, they're minus.
The Kings need to have this at home. They need home. The Kings need home ice in this series.
I feel like
they are the most lopsided team in the NHL. Home versus road splits.
Yeah.
It's bonkers.
They're minus 150 on the road in a game that's going to determine that. Hard to believe, but
wait, what's the price?
Kings are, hold on, let me refresh.
What?
Kings,
who's out?
Kings are minus 150.
That was a pick 3 hours ago.
Yeah, nobody's playing for Edmonton.
Oh, they're giving the game?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Oilers don't care. Picard and net. Thank you, Addison.
Oh, my. Oilers don't care.
Right. They're
giving home ice. So they say we can't catch them. We'd rather be healthy. Holy, wow, that's surprising.
Yeah.
I wonder how the fans feel about that.
Well, I'll find out.
The LA Kings are
look at
31.
this. Nina Scrimmage just typed It's that almost the whole first two lines. McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, Wallman, Ekholm, Stu Skinner, all out.
That's
they
crazy.
Okay.
So the Kings are 31-5-4 at home this year.
Yeah.
They're 15-19-5 on the road. Edmonton is pretty much flat either way. So if you could force them to go on the road, wouldn't you want to force them to go on the road? Like the Kings have 101 points. Edmonton has 99. The Kings have a game in hand. That's probably why.
Yeah,
that's probably why
math.
they're punting on them.
They did the math. They said, "The hell with this."
Wow.
Yeah,
that's really interesting.
I mean, Edmonton does beat them every year. They played. I think this is going to be the 5th year in a row that they played in the first round.
They're not afraid of them.
No.
How about that? That's fascinating. That was a pick. I was psyched for this game. Not anymore. All right.
Right. That's what I mean. This is last week of NHL, and I love hockey.
But yikes!
This is going to be a tough week for the NHL.
Whew. Boy, ouch! Time for better to book it. All right, let's roll through a couple of them. I've already told you what I played earlier. Pistons plus 2.5 games against Knicks.
I mean, the only way you lose this is a 4-1.
Yep.
Or a sweep. And I don't think there's a sweep. I would rule out Knicks sweeping anybody. I would rule out Pistons sweeping anybody.
Yep.
So
Although that's fine. If it happens, that's great.
Right.
I win the bet if that happens.
Yeah. I don't know how this loses. 4-1. That's it.
That's all. That's what the books are saying. It's gonna be a 4-1 quick series. I don't think that's the case. I don't think the Knicks are gonna. I think the Pistons hang around. Knicks in 7, but I'll take the 2.5 games with the Pistons.
Right.
Clippers win the series at plus 120, or it's actually 135. Sorry, I always write that down. Sorry, I had a different bet last night that was 130. That's 135, and then Clippers to win the West at 15-1.
I don't think they're going to win the West as much as I would love for them to.
I just need them to get to the finals, get to the Western Conference Finals. I don't need to win. That means they got to beat OKC. So it's basically it's a fade on OKC.
Right.
You got to.
Well, you just need them to win the first series, and then you can bet
Playoff
OKC to win the series just for a unit at 15-1. You can make sure you don't lose anything.
Yeah.
As of right now, I think they're going to win the series too. So I think they win the series, but I don't think they win the West.
I can't wait to watch the series. I mean, if the Clippers win game 1, I feel like the Nuggets might fall apart. Like they fired Michael Malone a week ago.
There's a lot going on.
Like a week ago. And it's like when they look around the locker room and like they got to go, all right, we've been here before, guys. We've been together, this unit with us and Michael Malone. It's like, who the hell is like Adelman? Who are you? Like, what? I know you are here. You're an assistant coach, but like you weren't the guy. You weren't the head coach. You weren't supposed to be sitting in that chair. Yeah.
It's just one of those things that we'll hear. If things go bad, it'll be, playoff Harden, blah, 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 blah. The Clippers
playoff
will be
Kawhi.
easy, all of it. Like you'll hear the good and the bad with the narrative. It's just the irony in it is that the Clippers are the most stable of the two when you're talking about them and the Denver Nuggets.
Right. It's crazy. All the injuries. 2 baseball plays. I got the Cardinals even money on the money line today.
Let's see. They are playing home against Houston and Valdez.
It's Sonny Gray.
Okay. Wow. I'll say book this one. I got to look at the numbers, but
home dog.
Right.
Coming off
they're favored now.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, they're minus 108.
Cardinals are favored?
Yeah.
Oh my. Okay. Nice. Sonny, I mean, they won 7-0 yesterday at home against the Phillies.
Yep.
They've been hitting and at Busch, and the Houston is coming off of a tough series. Yeah, it's Framber, but I like Sonny Gray at home.
Yeah, not many times you get Framber like either a minus 102 at some places.
Cheap price, right?
Even it's actually reversed. You could get Houston plus your even money. So sign me up for that.
And then finally, Giants, I got plus 105 against the Phillies today. 7-2 Giants, 5-1. Something's got to give between these two teams. Fun game to watch.
Yeah, I actually like the over.
Yep, I looked at it.
So
Giants are an over. The Phillies are a dead under team at home right now.
I know, but
4-1 over the last 5 to the under.
I know. I think this could be a bet. I do. Again, it's more of a fade on Walker. I think that I'm looking again to go against the Phillies when he pitches, but the Giants have been great. Very good baseball team. Just doing enough to win games, getting good bullpen pitching, all the above. I think the Giants are live today. Santana says, "Give me the Phillies. Book it."
It's fine.
I don't know. Type it in the chat while we get out of here. Who do you like in that game, boys and girls?
Bonus time coming for you guys with favorite thing about today. So don't move. You're watching live. The rest of you guys on the replay crew, thank you for being here. We're back tomorrow, same place, same time.
No, early show tomorrow.
Oh, thank you. Early show tomorrow. Live, early. 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, lunchtime show, morning show, breakfast show for out west, morning show for you guys who are going to be lunchtime show for East Coast for you guys on the East Coast. So 9 a.m. Pacific tomorrow, but replay guys, it don't matter for you guys. Same place, time. Bonus time now. Isn't there a Hunter Renfrow in the NFL? Yes, there is a Hunter Renfrow in the NFL. That is true.
He was a wide receiver on the Raiders.
Mm-hmm. Still is.
Still is on the Raiders?
Isn't he still on the Raiders? I don't know. The whole roster's turned over for the Raiders. So
I have no idea who's on what.
Nor do they know. Nor do they. They don't.
The Steelers still don't have a fucking quarterback.
I spared you from Better to Book It for having the Jackson Dart conversation. I made my first bet for the draft over the weekend.
On his
Jackson
quarterback
Dart
being drafted or his draft position?
Under 21 and a half, Jackson Dart.
What the hell's the juice on that? It got to be minus 150.
125.
Oh, that's good.
It was even money when I bet it. I just gave it out at 125 over the weekend.
Yeah, there's a lot of buzz about him being drafted as high as.
Well, we've been. I mean, that's where if we bring Derek Brown on, that's the player him and I have been talking about for 2 months now, going back and forth on because he came back from the draft and he was told point blank by a head of PR of one NFL team that Dart's not leaving the top 10.
Right.
He said Dart's going to go in the top 10. He was like, "What?" He's like, "Someone's going to trade up to 9 or 10 and go get him."
Well, the Derek Carr news just came out, like the Saints, and he may not play at all.
Right. So 9 is the most
right.
9, but Shador Sanders
quarterback in New Orleans makes perfect sense.
And by what Todd McShay broke down, all the quarterbacks that Kellen Moore has had in his system have all played very similar styles to Jackson Dart, not the way that Shador Sanders plays. More mobile, looking to run. Jalen Hurts is your prime example. Dak Prescott, prime example of the type of quarterback he's most comfortable calling plays for. That's not Shador Sanders. That's not his game.
Ooh.
So, Ross, you might be right. You can what, but 21 is the Steelers. That's why it's 21 and a half. So that's why the number is set where it's set.
Steelers are going to draft him in the first round.
Mm-hmm. You guys better you need to draft a quarterback in the first round.
Whole thing is just sitting around waiting for this guy to say what he's going to do. So weird.
Rodgers is not going to play. He would have already said yes. What's he waiting for? Like, what demands did he make of Pittsburgh that's giving them pause?
I don't know. I mean, I saw Crosby throw the ball at Pat's show, and I saw Big Ben throw the ball and look like he could still do it. I was like, you know what? These might be better options right now. What are we doing?
Could you imagine?
Flacco is not available, Addison. He signed again with the Browns, didn't he?
Sounds right.
Flacco signed with, to back up. I think he went back to Cleveland.
Sure.
No, I don't want Derek Carr, Marcelo. No.
Really? You don't want Derek Carr?
He's hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt, but he's better than the options you have right
Gonna be worse than the Browns. Can't be worse than the Browns, please.
I don't
Oh,
know. You might
that was a
be.
long year. That last year, then when they were worse than the Browns, and then they got smoked.
Oh, Marcel, I'm just saying he ain't hurt. He's just trying to get his way out of New Orleans.
Oh.
Our guys on the ground said Derek Carr's not hurt.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Kellen Moore at number 9 is where Jackson Dart could wind up falling to. So we'll see if he winds up in the top 10, or someone could trade up into 9, 10 in that range to go get him.
That was more fucking draft talk.
I know. I was trying to save you.
Right. No, that's fine. Listen, we can do that for 5 minutes. We can do a draft talk segment for 5 minutes a show.
Okay.
We just can't dwell on it for 20 like a lot of these shows are doing.
No, can't do it. I agree. Favorite thing about today is what?
Well, we're doing the show this week, and then we're going to be off for 2 weeks, basically, and just letting everybody that know that now. We'll remind them as like Roll Call Friday will kind of be a little send off for a little bit of a break and a recharge and all this other stuff. But my favorite thing about today is that we have the ability to do that. Like it reminded me, you know, I'm going back east next week. You're going out of the country the week after that. There's a lot going on in the space, and there's a lot of people. I had some conversations over the weekend that were just not depressing, but were very disheartening as far as what is going on. And I was like, man, this sucks. And then I was thinking, well, we're going to figure this out, you know, hopefully with sponsorships and things like that. And you guys, again, watching and listening to the show wherever you're at, make this all possible. But my favorite thing about today is like having a little bit of flexibility is a huge relief, because there's a lot of people in a lot of walks of life that don't have it. So I am very, very thankful for that.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things about running your own ship is that when it comes time to take time out, or time to go on vacation, or time to go and do things, you need to go do things back east. I'm going out of the country, like you mentioned. Like, we just need to go and do it. And like, there's no one to say yes or no to it. You're just us. We just, okay, we're going to be off. And you guys, there'll be stuff. We'll put out different best of types of clips and stuff. So like, you know, be following us on Twitter and such. We'll give you guys content to keep you guys, so we're not gone, out of sight, out of mind type of thing. But
we might be able to do a couple spaces.
I mean, I'll do one from Jamaica. You want to do one from Jamaica? I don't care.
I was thinking the week before when I'm back east.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm going to go see the girls, and then I'm going to go see a couple guys about some things. So for you guys back east in Jersey and Philly, stay ready on a button, because we might do a little meetup or something. But
good.
I don't know where, like the setup's not going to be good and conducive to doing a show, but we could do audio. So we could do a spaces. We should do a few. Yeah. Twitter spaces. We should definitely, because the video component now with Twitter spaces makes it pretty easy. So I thought that worked pretty well the one time that we did that. So, Vinny, I have thought about it. I've asked permission if I can go look for the offshores. I've been told I cannot do that. So unfortunately I can't go look for an offshore. I don't know. Are there offshores in Jamaica? Does anybody operate in Jamaica? Well, depending on where you're staying, Montego Bay. Yeah, you'll be able to go to a casino and see a book, what a book looks like there. Oh, okay. The problem with us is that we live here. Right. So going to a book doesn't really wow me. It's really tough. Like I love meeting at the book. Right. And like what we did in Kentucky was awesome. And like we hung out in the book, and everybody was hanging out. Some people were betting, some weren't. But it's a great place to go and meet and hang out. But like, I don't need to go there and see it. No, like if I'm meeting somebody, yes. But like, I'm excited to go, but I don't need to go. Like it's going to be kind of like a shock to this. I haven't taken a real vacation, meaning no work, since pre-pandemic. Hold on, I froze. Yes, you did. Okay. Snap your fingers. All right, you're good. Yep. So I haven't taken a real vacation since pre-pandemic, meaning no daily juice. Right.
So that's going to be the weird thing, is that like people are going to think I'm dead because I'm taking 7 days off from the Jews.
You took a couple days off when you were in the hospital.
Well, yes, but that
like,
was different.
What's
Right.
going on? It's like,
Because I was in the
fine.
hospital.
Like, yeah, he's in a hospital. Like,
This is scheduled.
pick your own
planned.
games.
Yeah, this is actually real. This is me going, I'm leaving the country, and I'm not going to be doing anything but sitting and drinking my weight in margaritas and pina coladas. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So that's no daily juice, Sonic. Yeah, that's that's the one. Right. The difference is not only is it no BBB, it's no daily juice. I'm not going to look at anything. I'm not going to watch a game. I'm not going to do anything. Like, it's literally, I've told Amanda I'm taking the phone and I'm going to try very hard to keep my, like, I think my average screen time on my phone is like somewhere in the neighborhood of like 13 hours a day. So I'm going to try to keep that down under 5. Like, I'm just going to go click and like,
I'll go over.
I'm going to try. Okay. I'm going to try to really stay away from as much social media and stay away from anything I can stay away from. And, taking pictures and everything, like, just like staying like, yes, it's a good call. It's my version of the darkness retreat. Yes. It's a very good call. So my favorite thing about today is what Rory McIlroy said yesterday. And it kind of goes hand in hand with what we're talking about, because in a lot of ways, being your own boss is chasing a dream and not wanting to give up on your dream. And I don't think I've ever had anything where I've accomplished it to the level of professionalism like Rory did, where I cared that much. Like, somebody said to me yesterday, have you ever had that emotion? Have you ever felt the same way that Rory felt and had that outpour of emotion? And I said, well, yeah, when my kid was born. Like, when I had my daughter, that's how I felt. I felt like, holy, like, everything was just like, just overwhelming amounts of emotion.
Yeah.
But chasing your dreams is, I talk to my kids at UNLV about it all the time. And I thought it was so cool for Rory to do that, to say to Poppy, like, don't ever stop chasing your dreams, because I'm living my dream right now. Yep. And even though you will probably fail at chasing your dreams, the lucky ones accomplish it. But even though you're going to probably fail, knowing that, you should still attempt to do everything in your power to chase them, because you'll hate yourself if you don't. And Rory was hating himself for 14 years. He had the 56-hole lead at the Masters going into round 4, and he shot an 80 and tied for 15th. And every year he went back and they asked him about that last round and that 80 and what happened in 2011 and when were you going to when were you going to win the green jacket? And then he did it. And then he was able to go ahead and do it. So, favorite thing about today is keep chasing your fucking dreams, guys.
Just got to keep going, right?
Keep going.
It keeps coming back. This always forward, never straight. I got a text over the weekend from one of the girls that I coached, and I haven't heard from her in a year. And she just sent me, Coach Dave, always forward, never straight. Love you.
Nice.
Just random out of nowhere. And I was like, wow, all right, that's good. And then he does that. Yeah. That was a lot of emotion. Boy, that emotion that pours out of you when that kid comes out of the like in the delivery room, that was something. It's just, that was
for me. It was also bringing her home. When she came home, it was all like, "Whoa, this is real." Here we go. 18 years. Let's go. Here we go.
I just the wave of emotion when they come out is that's what got me. I was like, wait a second, that's ours. Yep. Whoa.
Today. Yesterday they weren't here. Today they're here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whew. Boy,
they hand them to you. You're like, oh my God. Like, what?
Yep.
And then
wild stuff. Guys, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. We are back tomorrow. So as Dave said, early show tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, live. If you got to go to the replay, no worries. It's all good. It'll be there for you guys waiting it when you need to. For you guys who watch it on the replay crew on Sports Grid or Sirius XM, there's no change there. But live show tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time, early morning breakfast with the BVB on the West Coast. Lunch with us on the East Coast. Dave, Matt, back tomorrow for a morning episode, early episode of the Bostonian versus the Book.
Go Bucks!